The fall gaming season is almost in full swing, and Nintendo has quite the lineup across the next few months. But there are plenty of other titles as well, and some of these we really wish were on Switch. After the announcement of Doom Eternal, it got our minds thinking, which other third-party fall titles would we love to have on Switch? We've each picked 3 for you today, and while we're well aware that these aren't happening, man, Doom Eternal and Panic Button's magic, it just makes you think and hope and wish and wonder.
Yeah, I still think this is a fun little exercise and talk about, which of the many games coming this fall we want most on Switch. And with that, Zach, I think I can get us started here with the biggest of them all. It's probably going to be a Game of the Year contender. It's probably going to sell the most out of darn near everything this year. Red Dead Redemption 2 from Rockstar. Again, not feasible, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is a super awesome third-person action story game from Rockstar. It has all those Rockstar elements, and it's going to have single-player and multiplayer, a ton of really good stuff. Very little needs to be said about Red Dead. Again, it's going to be like the biggest game of the year because it's a Rockstar game. But having this on Switch would be absolutely phenomenal. It would need to be downgraded visually. That's going to be clear because the recent gameplay shows that Red Dead Redemption 2 is looking pristine, and I am so excited for this game. Zach, how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm incredibly excited, which is shocking because I'm not usually the biggest Rockstar fan, but the way that they've established this world, Red Dead 1 was one of my favorite open world titles back when that released, and I think just all the little details, the nuances in the interaction system between you and the NPCs looks fantastic. We haven't even heard much yet about the multiplayer, but I fully expect that to be a huge component of not only the game, but also where people spend their time with said Red Dead Redemption 2, and just being able to do all of the little details and accomplish all of the tasks and manage your base and all the things that they've shown thus far would be so fun on the go. We have heard rumored for, since the Switch really released, Grand Theft Auto. I don't know if that ever happens. I don't think this one ever happens, but it sure would be sweet.
Yeah, and you take on the role of Arthur Morgan in a time that's rarely explored, which is kind of where the all-out ways are starting to die off, and the American Old West is transitioning into sort of what the world that we know now, a little bit at least. So the setting is phenomenal. I love that it's a prequel as well, where we're gonna see John Marston in the game again. That alone is pure nostalgia for people that love the original. So yeah, this is a very exciting one.
I'm going to take up the voice of the people here, Gabe, or at least the very FPS-focused people, and say Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I was incredibly impressed with the beta. I had so much fun with that heist mode. I think the game is coming together nicely. It's an odd package this year because it is avoiding campaign and single player for the first time, and it's incorporating Battle Royale for the first time. And for many reasons, it's not coming to Switch, but I think it would be so freaking fantastic, and being able to play multiplayer on the go would be absolutely incredible. We heard rumored for a while Call of Duty is coming to Switch this year. It's not. I don't know that it will even next year, but it definitely is probably my pipe dream game for the fall.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun with the beta as well. I played it on PC. I am a believer in this game, and I have kind of been off the Call of Duty hype train for a couple of years now. I didn't even play last year's at all, and the year before that, I barely touched. This one, I already spent more time with the beta than I did the previous 2 years combined. The heist mode is something that I love quite a bit. They've incorporated a lot of what is cool about Counter-Strike, but brought in that super perfect Call of Duty gameplay, and the introduction of Battle Royale is something I'm really looking forward to. There's going to be a separate beta for that coming as well. But yes, Call of Duty would be really, really cool on the Switch. You're probably going to want to use a Pro Controller if it were real, but sadly, it is not to be. It's still a really fun game, and I hope you guys get to play it on other platforms. It's just sad that
that's kind of the big surprise here is, hey, we play other games on other platforms, and we probably will play, we'll definitely play all 6 we mentioned here.
Yeah. With that, I'll take us into a little bit of a smaller game here, Zach, in the form of Life is Strange 2. It is by no means a small game, but, on the scale that we've been talking, Life is 2 is an episodic adventure, right? They are one of the people that kind of took the template from, Telltale and did something so much cooler with it. The story of Life is Strange is really, really awesome, and decisions taken from the demo of the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit are going to carry over into Life is Strange 2. For those of you unfamiliar, that's out on Xbox now, and it's a free like sort of like prequel thing. It's a very like touching and scary at times story, and it's like a coming of age tale, and I'm a sucker for that. The Breakfast Club is one of my favorite movies of all time, but episode 1 is coming on September 27th, and I wish it was on Switch, and I feel like this one could be on Switch. I don't know why it's not.
Oh yeah, it would be totally a perfect fit. You know, we saw Telltale this week and really embrace the Switch much more with their final season of Walking Dead. It looks like the first season may be coming as well. Frankly, I don't know why this one isn't there. Square has supported the Switch in many ways, and it probably just comes down to time, engine, team, stuff like that. But this one absolutely would be awesome, and I think those types of adventures would be really fun, either on the go or cuddled up in bed.
Yeah, so Life is Strange 2. I wanted to make sure that this was on here just because I have like such fond memories of playing the original. It was such a surprise because you don't expect that, because you know Telltale does things like this very well, but to see Square Enix come in here and do that and have it be so good and deliver on all fronts, it was very, very awesome.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see where they go with this second season and if it's able to recapture the magic of the first. I thought one of the best parts about Life is Strange Season 1 was they didn't really have any limits. Like, they kind of were willing to push things in really intense directions on a multitude of fronts, and I hope that they're able to do that again without feeling forced. I have not liked the things that have come between the two seasons anywhere near as much as the main course, so hopefully this one can bring it back to that top tier level. I'm going to continue to go mainstream, though, and say Fallout 76, which is an online-only game and would be insanely difficult on the platform. I fully believe that if Fallout 76 was a traditional Fallout, it would be on the platform, given Bethesda's total love for the Switch. But given that it is a multiplayer-only Fallout, it's not. I'm super excited for the game. It's kind of weird that I am, because I'm not the biggest Fallout fan.
And you're not the biggest multiplayer fan.
Right. So it's... I don't know. I think it's because they're trying to approach things. At least it feels like they're trying to approach things a bit differently. Like, it's not the straight-up survival that we've come to see and expect from games like Rust and Raft and every other, Steam release. And it's not Battle Royale, and it's not MMO. Like, it's trying to sit, I feel, in a unique spot. And maybe that is what appeals to me. Plus, I think just mechanic-wise and system-wise, they've made so many smart decisions. We saw last week that PvP is really well implemented and trying to be as nuisance-free as possible, as least annoying as it can possibly be. And I think that's really admirable. The card pack idea for perks is pretty freaking awesome. And just the concept of having like a single-player game that's trying to exist in a multiplayer capacity, I don't know. I guess it could all fall apart, but I feel like this one is going to, outside of things like Red Dead and God of War, be one of the biggest and favorite games of 2018.
Yeah, this is like my third most anticipated game of the year for me. Red Dead's 1, Smash is 2, and then this. Like you, I'm not like the craziest of Fallout fans. I got every single achievement like for Fallout 3 like back in the day, and I played New Vegas a lot. Fallout 4 just like didn't quite do it for me. I didn't like the building systems as much, and they're kind of like doubling down on some of that stuff for this one. But the fact that it's going to be like multiplayer now is really attractive to me. I have a group of friends that I'm probably going to play this on a regular basis with, and I hope to bring you in, Zach, and have some adventures of our own inevitably if we play this on the same platform. But yeah, like you're going with the ones that are going to be very popular picks. If it's not Red Dead, like Fallout's the other like major thing this holiday that isn't like Nintendo related. So I'm totally
Call of Duty.
Yeah, but I feel like Fallout is a little bit bigger like at this time, like just like hype wise. I guess it probably won't sell more, but
yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, we will get into my third pick, which is also not something like insanely popular, but is a franchise that I've loved for like a very long time. And the last entry did something really interesting in the form of episodic releases of their own, and that's going to be Hitman 2. And that's going to abandon the episodic nature of these things, but it's a stealth game for anybody that's never heard of Hitman. You get to do like really cool things. It's like almost like each level is a puzzle that can be solved in a multitude of ways, and just like doing the most creative ways to get the objective done is like so fun to me. I'm glad that this is going to be like a one big game instead of just like, hey, we get like content released every like couple of months. So this is out November 13th, and I love that the gameplay is going to be similar to 2016's Hitman, and I love that they're carrying that forward and just expanding on it.
Yeah, Hitman's a game that I have never really gelled with. I always feel like I'm doing it wrong. And games of this style are weird for me because, like, you can be so perfect, but you can also be so messy, and it's almost like you have to hold yourself to that standard, and I'm just really bad at that. Like, if I can messily get through it, and it's not going to fail me out, then I'll just messily go through it. But I can definitely see how this would be super fun on Switch. I agree. Like, I like that they are eschewing the episodic or staggered release format and just giving it to you all on a disc. And I'm sure it'll do very well. I was shocked to see the first season of Hitman, like for Giant Bomb, it won their Game of the Year, and it received so much praise. So if they're able to even match that, I think that would be remarkable. It does come from Warner Brothers, who has shown support for the Switch in the past. Obviously, I think that Hitman 2 is doing a little bit more than like Lego Incredibles per se. But I mean, yeah, it's obvious why it's not on the platform, but it would be pretty fun if it was.
Yeah, I love the Hitman like series so much. This is gonna be the 7th entry in the series, which is interesting as well.
Indeed. My final pick, I guess, is a little bit of a less mainstream one, but it's still pretty mainstream, and that would be Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And here I feel like this game would be fantastic. I feel like this would be the one to put on. I mean, outside of Life is Strange 2, which I find odd that it's not. I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a major game, a AAA title that isn't that forward-thinking where it could work on Switch. Like, I played the demo for a solid 30 minutes at E3 this year, and I felt like I was playing Rise of the Tomb Raider. It doesn't, to me, from what I've played, it doesn't feel as modern as many of the other titles releasing this year. It still looks good. I don't think it looks as grand as some of the others on this list or games that have already come out this year. So along with the Square support, I think this one could have fit on Switch. And it's not the most exciting title because it seems so similar, but it would have done a lot for the platform if it was releasing. And I would have been super curious to see like what the sales breakdown would have been like. I mean, if you can make, I don't know, I feel like if Panic Button got their hands on Shadow of the Tomb Raider, they could totally make this work, and it would, because of like the Switch factors, seem more cool, and you would kind of forget about the aspects that make it feel like a 2016 or 2014 game.
Yeah, and seeing like big open worlds like this on Switch is something that's like kind of lacking. Other than Breath of the Wild, like there's not a lot that's like modern and open like this. We do have like some other open world games, but they're like pixelated or whatever the case may be. I don't know if I even have the fondness for these like Tomb Raider games anymore. I played the first one all the way through. I played most of the second one, but it lost me. I just really am not into that story whatsoever. This is the culmination of that, and this is going to be the ending of the beginning is how they're marketing it. But yeah, I mean, I can see why it's not on Switch. It's still like you had mentioned, a very like pretty game, and I think it's like hard to get that to run on Switch unless you're like Panic Button and they have their hands full.
It's just it's no prettier than Wolfenstein 2 or Doom Eternal. Like,
but it's big though. Like that's the difference. Like Doom and Wolfenstein are like a little bit like more like linear. Like this is just a little too open.
And I'm sure that's the limiting factor. It just, I call me blasphemous, but I don't feel like it feels like a 2018 game, and that's where I don't know, like, do you think the first Tomb Raider could fit on Switch?
Well, yeah, the first one absolutely can, because it was on 360 as well.
Right, so it's like, how much more is this one doing? And maybe it is doing more, and I'll get the full game and be blown away, but I still like the gameplay loop there. I still think, like, the shooting is fun, and I like the more gamified, like, collect this, collect that, get upgrades, and use tools, and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't feel as organic, nor as immersive an experience as something like God of War, but I'm still looking forward to playing it. And I'm hoping that there is more different behind the curtain that I don't know, because, yeah, like you said, like, by the end of that second new Tomb Raider Rise, like, I was kind of over it.
Yeah, it's so hard when you have games like Horizon doing so much for the genre.
Exactly. And see, that's what I was saying. Like, if this was Horizon Zero Dawn, I'd be like, yeah, obviously, like, even though Panic Button says that's their dream port, I mean,
could never happen for legal reasons.
It can never happen for many reasons. Yeah, right. But I feel like Tomb Raider is like, I feel like it's, and no slight against Tomb Raider, but I feel like it's years behind Horizon Zero Dawn, like in terms of what it's attempting to do. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It'd still be a good game for Switch, is what we're saying.
Yes. So whether it is Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Red Dead Redemption 2, Fallout 76, Life is Strange 2, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, or Hitman 2, these would be fantastic additions to the Switch library. None of them are happening, and we will stake our claims onto what is happening in the form of Super Mario Party and Smash Brothers and Pokemon. And I still think, as long as they do add one or two other things, it will be a very good fall, but one can dream. And after Doom Eternal, and even hearing like the Rage team talk about it, it just gets you thinking about what's possible and what could be, and maybe where we land a little bit more in 2019 in terms of big third-party titles making their way to the platform. Let us know if any of these seem awesome to you, or if there's a different game you'd love to have on Switch, a fall game that you want on the platform. We know it's not happening, but in your perfect world, which game would it be? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from the Switch and the games that actually are coming out. We'll have those covered for you. And follow us on Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. For myself and Gabe, have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Switch Force, out.